咚，
那个是鸡肉，
鸡肉，红烧肉，
哎，红烧肉，台湾都比较多海产，鱼，
I would say my family is average size.
蔬菜比较少。
I have one mom, one dad, a brother, and a sister. On my mom's side, I've got a grandma, a grandpa, 3 aunts, an uncle, and a decent amount of cousins and their kids. Mom grew up in South Dakota, moving to Oregon when she was a teenager. Somehow, just about her entire family has ended up in Salem. My dad's side is a little smaller. A grandma, a grandpa, 2 uncles, an aunt, a cousin, and a step-cousin. My dad grew up in Canton, China, before moving to Taiwan, then to Okinawa, and then emigrating to the U.S. There are a few differences that separate the 2 sides of my family. First, I get to see my dad's side of the family maybe once a year. I see my mom's side of the family at least on Mother's Day, Christmas, and maybe Easter, which have all become traditions among the Tafts. There are no traditions on the Chen side of the family, other than always going out for Chinese food when visiting, but I don't know if that really counts as a tradition. The biggest difference, however, is that I can communicate with my mother's half of the family tree. Neither Mama, Yaya, nor my aunt could ever say more than a simple greeting in English. Even when my uncles are around, Cantonese is the dominant language. I have had deeper conversations with strangers on the bus. Is this a common occurrence among mixed-race people? My grandpa Taft died when I was in elementary school, but I feel like our relationship was stronger than the one I had with my Chinese grandpa. I cried at Yaya's funeral last spring, not because of the great, amazing memories I never had with him, but because I felt betrayed. My father never taught me and my siblings Chinese. He never took us to China, and outside of cooking Chinese food, never included his heritage in our upbringing. He may have had his reasons. Maybe he didn't feel like it was important, or maybe he couldn't remember enough to teach us. I don't really blame him. I don't really know who I should blame. Maybe a culture that tells you to abstain from teaching your children about your birthplace so that they can live a better future. I don't know. But whatever or whoever is to blame, Yaya is dead, and I never got to know him. I never got the chance to hear him tell me stories about his walk to India. I missed out on bedtime stories about being an airplane mechanic who was so small he could fit inside of the plane. He showed me a little kung fu when I was a kid, but I never got to hear the stories behind it. I never got to tell him where I went to school or what I wanted to be when I grew up. My little sister's in Taiwan right now. She's learning Mandarin. She told me she cries when she thinks about how she barely missed being able to talk to him. Mama has begun the descent into mental illness. When she passes, half of my family history will disappear with her. What do I tell my kids? How do I explain our heritage when I don't even know myself?
你美国家里有